Alright, so SmackDown kind of a little bit on still like the little bit of the stale side. They over here basically like them chips that you haven't thrown out yet, but they still got some use because you ain't trying to be wasteful. But you realize they a little bit past due. Um, but you still keep eating them. Anyway, that's how SmackDown sort of feels, and more particularly Cody Rhodes and his title reign, especially here lately. I was like, I know, Damian just got his ended, so everybody was doing like the Damian Cody thing, and Damian had the best one, better reign so far. But that beside the point. Uh, I just don't. I was like, I there's really nobody for him to really deal with on SmackDown. I was like, hell, one of them is on Raw facing Gunther. But that's why I was like, as I am, I was like, I don't think it's that hard to actually do this until, cause like, listen, we're with Cody right now. It really seems like we're in waters waiting for a wave to come through so we can surf, and that is somewhat of either something with Roman and especially The Rock, and the latter don't know how much that's going to happen. But if you're trying to have this prolonged WrestleMania, long ass time, and I'm not saying these things are going to be the thing that gets you all the way there, last that long, or anything like that. But this is just suggestions to just hold you over. Be that snack until you get to dinner time. Until basically we get whatever their main plan is in these next few pay per views or whatever like that. Cause I was like, after Bash of Berlin, you got Bad Blood, you got the Saudi show, then I think there's Survivor Series, there's probably something else, Royal Rumble, Eliminator Chamber, WrestleMania, something like that. So it's not like there's so many pay per views you got to plan for, but it's like that along with the Friday nights that you over here are just like droning on for you. But I was like, let's get into the main one. Let's start with number 5. KO, what we see sort of in with currently, like turning heelish, and also Randy Orton. Okay, all right. So let's sort of do this how it is. All right, he with KO right now, and I'm not gonna lie, that the past Friday with Kevin Owens and the way he was talking, get the hell out of here with that. That was some weak sauce in the way that it was delivered. Cause it wasn't even. It wasn't. I felt like if he would have did it funny, it could have worked. I just think the way that he went about it was very whiny. Where he would just kind of like I thought the first part of it was being like, oh, I don't really deserve a shot. I haven't been winning or whatever like that. I think that holds some merit. I think that's a good thing to do, especially if he's babyface. I think that part could resonate true. I was like, even though he said it in a very like sad way, he could have, he could have just did it more exuberant with it in a way, like not necessarily like happy about it, but just like loud about it. Like I don't even deserve this chance. I haven't been winning or nothing. Like he could have just, but instead it's like I don't even like it was just all like sad and depressing, and it's like nobody needs that type from you KO, especially that KO your whole spirit is to fight no matter, be damned, I'm hurt, leg broken, face stomped in, I'ma still come out here and try to beat your ass. That's Kevin Owens. So for him to say that was just kind of like the way he said it or whatever, even though it has merit. I was like, Cody giving it to him because technically best friend or whatever like that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's also because of the way that Cody sort of speaks that it was also sound like it was a pity thing. We're like, hey man, like you won't be my opponent. I don't have nobody to fight. We tied a bloodline. Let's not. They don't even get a chance to play on the damn playground with us. It's just me and you, buddy. Like that's how it sounded. Um, but I was like, I do think he deserved. It is sort of cool that he gets a shot because it's like, hey, you've been helping me, holding me down, having my back. That like, you know what? The best I could do basically is give you a job, and that's sort of what he did. Um, Now I was like, this week it was a little bit better where we got to see a little bit of that, like that spirit in there, that spirit in that chest. He had a little bit. He gotta get that dog out of him. So I was like, cool. We get some of that. He even had a little bit of like that chair where he was like, but I was like, and that's all we need. You don't need. I don't think he needs to turn heel. I was like, I don't think he necessarily needs to be like the prize fighter, even though that, like, if you're trying to prolong something, sure, but I just don't think that this. Don't think this is really the right time for him to really turn heel in this way. Like, I don't know what he. I mean, yes, he turned on Cody, but I was like, because Kevin Owens is really like an anti-hero. He's not. I was like, when he's a face, he's a badass, and when he's a heel, he's a likable badass. So, like, like he is sort of Stone Cold with, why he got the stunner. So I was like, I don't mind him having, him being or having the shot or whatever. I just like the way that I just like them to do it or whatever like that. Like him even like referencing like there's plenty of people in the locker room that deserve a chance over me. It's like quit your BSing, quit your bullshitting, bro. That's a lie, and or whatever. And then he changed his mind when Roman, then he was talking about like, oh, other people over Roman. It's like, all right, once again, cut it out. But he don't have to turn fully heel. He just got to be a badass in here and show that he got some fight once everything goes down. That's it. It ain't nothing more serious or complicated than that. So I was like, but there's no telling how long this is gonna last. Like I said, if he turns heel, then you could prolong it for a little while or whatever like that. But then guess what? Now you're in a different situation where it's like, not only do Cody not have heels to fight, now he's gonna lose a friend or somebody to have his back against Bloodline. And maybe that's what you need to do is like, maybe you need to have, maybe like after this you have something like where Kevin Owens have like a realization that's like, yo, you just keep using us or something like that. But he gave him a title shot, so he can't even say that because he did sort of pay him in that type of way. But like I said, Kevin Owens is in that. I was like, even though he's a face, he can still do some things where he can still fight, and we expect him to lose, but maybe something comes around like a second time where it's like there's something else to it, almost like not how AJ Styles did, but something else that's similar, where it's like that. The Randy thing, he's gonna face Gunther. He was already sort of alluding to Cody. I was like, once again, that's somebody else that's like, there's really no turning heel because everybody likes him as well too. And this is sort of the whole problem with basically like everybody sort of loves badasses and everybody who like badasses, and it's like there's really no way people can be heel because we all like them too much. So technically, are they really a heel? But Randy Orton, I was like, he's Randy Orton, so he'll get a title shot later on. I don't think his isn't as bad as Kevin Owens because Randy Orton always just sort of stay in that mindset. Like you even see how he's even with Gunther, where it's just like he's a face, but he's like, I'll still punch your ass. Like that's still there. That's that Viper, them voices, they still up in there. So it's not as hard with him as Kevin Owens. I just don't know. The problem is that he's already faced Gunther. He's going to lose, so then you're going to have him come over here and do to lose to Cody again. I mean, lose to Cody at like another separate time, especially off the back of you doing this with Kevin Owens at some point too. That is like too much rinse repeat kind of thing. That if that is the case with Randy Orton, Kevin Owens would have to turn heel. Randy Orton can't really turn heel because everybody we enjoy any damn thing he do. I was like, look, we over here like a hard KO Beth Phoenix, and we was like, yes, he RKO'd that girl. Yes, that woman. That's what we talking about. So, but that's number 5 of just like the easy, obvious, out the way kind of things. That's like, hey, it sets up a match. It's going to be a good match. We know who's going to win. Like we know who, like Cody going to win all this, but we at least get a good top match out of it. Like it'll be something that's a big notch on basically your title reign. That's why Gunther going against Randy. We know Gunther going to win, but it's a big title reign. All right, number 4. Hear me out. Giovanni Vinci. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Giovanni Vinci, that dude that just got beat up out of the Imperium, the guy that just repackaged basically on SmackDown. And I'm like, yeah, because he just got repackaged on SmackDown. He's a pretty good wrestler. He's doing a whole new thing. I was like, I don't know why they don't really do this in general. But basically, like, you remember when Carmelo Hayes got called up and he immediately faced Cody? That's what you should do. It does no harm to anybody. You are facing the top champion. We know you're not going to win. But at the same time, you get to showcase yourself. And off of that can propel you to basically be taken it a little bit more serious. Guess what? We know that, I was like, we know he's going to get his ass beat to Cody. But after that match, then if he like goes and faces like LA Knight, we think of it as a little bit more legitimate because he just was over here facing Cody Rhodes. It looks a lot better than if he just pops in with LA Knight and we're like, oh, you're not gonna win. I was like, you knew he like that's the one where like we know he's gonna lose against Cody, but it doesn't do any harm there. To where it's like, okay, you lose against LA Knight, now you're just gonna be thrown in that vortex of like the rest of the mid carders at that point, unless they just come out and have him win, which they're not gonna do against LA Knight. But I'm saying like I think it's easier to go from here down here than it is to try to be like here and then there's nothing up there. You just lost to LA Knight. You can't go. You ain't gonna go up. You ain't got that type of stature. We ain't propelled you up there like that. I was like, and I know I was like, I still caught that happen with Carmelo Hayes. He sort of ain't done a damn thing in that way either. Which I was like, to me, they should have immediately had him sort of start going with going against Logan Paul and whatnot during that time, but they didn't. But in saying that, yeah, I just think that I was like, look, he's new, but I think it would give him some type of thing where it's like I thought they should have sort of did this with a lot of other people. Where it was Andrade, I thought he should have came out the gate, and I'm like, cause I'm like you put them in something early, even if they may not have a storyline. You put in them something early, they sort of get taken. They get a different light. Cause guess what? A lot of times it's all about perception. Like Braun Breaker, I was like. And Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov got immediately put into the King of the Ring. I was like, as a new guy, totally changed the whole outlook of everything else. I was like, Braun Breaker. I was like, start destroying the hell out of people. Immediately, new thought process to where like, oh, now he's Intercontinental Champion. I'm just saying, perception goes a long way. And I was like, yeah, cause there's really nobody else that came up recently that I was like, you could do that with. They're not gonna do that though. Number 3, an open challenge. I was like, to me, this is probably would be my favorite out of all of them, just because you got so many people on the SmackDown roster that is pretty much all in a like a little like gumbo that ain't got no seasoning. Where it's just like everything's in there, but it just kind of like, cause I was like outside of Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, I was like, you say, but I was like, Solo's in there just because I was like because we've known him from this bloodline, the old bloodline, that I'm like he got name recognition in a way that's like means something. I was like, you say what you want. Logan Paul, he had name recognition that was like, we know he's not gonna win, but we know that he could be thrown into the match because he's already done it with Roman and stuff. LA Knight, if you wanted to with Cody Rhodes, name recognition, he's already been put in like world championship matches. I was like when they had AJ Styles. I was like, I know it didn't go well when it was on Raw, but Shinsuke Nakamura, we know he's gonna lose. But I was like, you could throw him in there, and it's like, fine, we understand, gonna lose, but you could throw him in there. Everybody else, but that's why I think that an open challenge is good, just because it almost made me think of Roman when he had the title, not the year before last, like 2 years ago, where he was just facing off against Matt Riddle, Xavier Woods, Montez Ford. Where it was just like we was getting him in single matches against people that we normally don't see in these type of spots. We don't normally we don't see it. We don't even know if they necessarily could be in that tier. But then you see him in the match, and you're like, damn, I didn't know he could do that. damn, that's crazy. I was like, that was a damn good match. I almost want him to win the championship. Like that's what I think that they could be doing with this open challenge. I was like, I done already named, like, I was like, I named Montez Ford. He ain't doing a damn thing right now. But I was like, him from, like, the Roman match, the Elimination Chamber, like, we seen him do single matches where it's like, he would get a good ass match out of Cody Rhodes. Hell, you can even go to Angelo Dawkins, who I was like, who's been doing really good work. Where I was like, I think he could be like Montez Ford. I think he'd be like a main champion. Dawkins, I was like, yeah, he could be a mid card champion at least at this point. Now I'm like, you put him in that match. I was like, that'd be a good ass match because Cody's a really good match. I was like, Angelo Dawkins got really good athleticism. It's different than Montez Ford, but you get what I'm saying. That I'm like, that'd be a good match. I was like, like Andrade, yes, he doesn't get any type of pop or any fanfare or nothing like that, but you know that's gonna be a good match. And on SmackDown at least, yeah, some of these aren't going to be like put them in for a pay-per-view type of match, but on these Friday nights where it just kind of just like dragging along, I'm like, that's gonna be a good match where it's just like, oh snap, something just popped. I already said like Carmelo Hayes, and I was like, they ain't really. I was like, I know him and Andrade doing the thing, but I was like, you got him there. I was like, and look, these ain't gotta be like the main event or nothing like that. But I was like, Baron Corbin came back up. I was like, that sounded like just a good Friday night type of match. I was like, he's over here bringing out some new work. They got a plethora of people who are just in this packed zone that I'm like, you got enough people. I was like Johnny Gargano, Ciampa. I was like, who's had matches with Gunther and stuff like that. I'm like, you got people to utilize that can at least bridge the time between you and these other things where it's like, we know we're waiting. Say we're waiting on The Rock to come. That's like, yeah, but you remember that Cody Rhodes Ciampa match? Like, you need something to drain it. You know, something that just don't make it feel like, oh my god, the whole time. All right, number two. I was like, I feel like they should have somebody take advantage of this bloodline situation. And by that, I was like, right now they're not necessarily doing the bloodline thing, but for instance, like if Bloodline was over here coming and wrecking Cody and his friends and stuff like that, that this is sort of gonna almost be connected to my number one, but it's not. But it's like during the Bloodline stuff, you know, Cody thinking like, oh, I just knocked out the Bloodline. I'm returning up the ramp with my belt. Somebody just comes in and wallops his ass. Somebody just comes in, you know, after these Bloodline matches and just take him out. Maybe doing a constant thing or something like that. Tag him backstage or whatever. Take advantage of the opportunity. You know, I almost in like thinking of like Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, where how they would just like, forget this. I'm gonna just take things in my own hands. Like I said, somebody that don't get any pop, Andrade. If Andrade just came out there and just like did that little like kick back elbow to like Cody out of like nowhere, but then like left and the Bloodline just came in and just started beating Cody's ass, guess what? Now that's a pop for Andrade, who ain't got nothing that nobody popping for. He got a little something. I was like, he ain't even gotta say anything. He ain't gotta talk or nothing like that. I would like just be like backstage where like Cody's over here talking to be like, Cody, what happened back there? It's like, oh, the Bloodline got me. He's like, what was that about Andrade? It's like, I don't know what that had to do with anything. And then wow, Andrade comes in and knocks his ass out again. Guess what? We seen it with Braun, where it was like, yeah, he had a little bit of like something from coming up from NXT, but once he started taking people out with Ricochet and Sammy and Ilya, guess what? We started being like, I want that dude. Bronson Reed, who basically everybody was kind of just neutral on. They're like, oh, he's cool, he's a big dude or whatever like that. Takes out Seth, changes everything with all his tsunamis. Even R-Truth changes a lot. And guess what? We're gonna see what happens this next week or whatever. I was like, I think he's gonna try, but I don't think he's gonna do it again just because it leaves everybody up. But think about it, when he was going to for R-Truth, everybody was like, to the mids, everybody was like, no. Then when he was doing R-Truth, everybody was like, no. But then everybody, how they sort of was doing that for like Seth, they was like, give him another tsunami. Give him another one. One more. I'm just saying, give somebody that type of rub on SmackDown where it's just like, they could just be sick and tired of just like being like, yo, I'm tired of like not getting the title shot. I'm tired of this bloodline stuff. I'm gonna just start doing me. That's all I'm saying. Is that it's? I was like, I don't think it's sort of that hard with something like that, where it's like it don't have to be Andrade to use him because he's like on the lower like reaction or whatnot. Then number one, which I think could be a possibility. I was like that I could see them doing outside of KO and Randy Orton. Is Randy Orton gone over to face Gunther for the number one contender? I mean, for Gunther and his title. We don't know what the implications of that. So, how to make it, how to build what happened at King of the Ring into a storyline from Bash at Berlin to another storyline is basically that, hey, Randy Orton going to Raw is a favor from, I was like, from SmackDown. SmackDown calls in a favor from Raw. Pick somebody off of Raw to come over and basically feud with Cody Rhodes. That's how you could do it. That whether that's, I was like, maybe Bronson Reed, because I was like, he might not get that shot over here on Raw. But maybe, because I was like, him and Gunther got stuff in the past, even though he beat Gunther, that I was like, this Bronson Reed is a threat differently. Another big guy as well, too. A different opponent that he might get a chance at Gunther. But Raw got a plethora of people that you could say that you might be able to pick out a good amount of them that's kind of like, okay. Like, for instance, I was like, Sammy gets a shot. I was like, hey, that's something where we know like Cody gonna win, but it's believable because one, he's an underdog, and two, is also, I was like, they got history and stuff like that. So it's not the same way as like some pity thing with like KO, even though he's a face as well. I was like, only reason I say Jay is because that could build up to the Bloodline storyline because he'll be on SmackDown a lot. That could be some crossover. So it's like you could build off of that storyline to another storyline. You can, I was like, Drew McIntyre sort of difficult because I was like, he does have some like history with Cody in a way, by also saying like, Seth, don't you see he using you and all this other stuff, and that whole dynamic with that title shot before WrestleMania and stuff like that. But you also got to keep Drew strong. He's right now. You can't have him lose against Cody, and you don't want another interference. I was like, you can't really do anybody from Judgment Day or whatever like that. Like, yeah, you could do like, Finn. Nah, you can't really do Finn Balor. You can't do Dominic or nothing like that. I was like, you could do. I was like, there's people. I'm just saying they got a plethora of people. I was like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of like who's some serious people, like even people they're not even using right now or whatever like that. It would have been good if they wasn't doing the stuff with the Wyatt Six, that Chad Gable and his crazy ass at that time would have been able to appear over there or something like that. But there's people that I'm like, you could grab over there that you could potentially put into this. And that's why I think that it could be likely that they do this one, just because it did sound like there might have been some favor exchanging in that same way. I don't know, but there's still a possibility. But anyway, those are just 5 of the ideas that I thought of just like how can we make SmackDown better until we get to the for Cody, until we get to whatever that destination is. Obviously yes, WrestleMania, but I was like, there's going to be something in between there to make whatever it is at WrestleMania the thing. And I'm just saying, I was like, we gotta get by these damn Fridays until the damn pay-per-view or something like that. You I was like, look, I was like, with SmackDown, I just be watching. I was like, I don't even be watching. Sometimes I'll watch clips of like stuff that they have over there. I'm like, cool, we could just cut straight to the point. I ain't gotta see no commercials, none of that type of stuff. The crazy thing is, I might as well watch it because it's the same amount of time, and I'm probably watching the highlights. But anyway, what do y'all think? Do y'all like any of these ideas? What did y'all do? Who is somebody that you like to see that Cody face into the meantime? I was like, let me know everything, the possibility. But until then, peace. I'm out.